Good evening, everyone. Sorry I haven't streamed too regularly lately, but I've got a bad back and it's not very good for long streams. But with the advent of this DLC, I thought I'd just see what large tractors are capable of pulling it, as it is rated at 600 horsepower. Obviously the big bug will pull it, the quad track will pull it, so I haven't put those into the mix. I've put the 9RX in, as you can see. I have put the Fendt 1050 in, which is 80 horsepower below what's rated, so that will be interesting. This is raw, I haven't tried myself. I have put the Class 0 5000 in, and I have put the New Holland T9 in. All these vehicles are maxed out, so you know the horsepowers. These four fields are identical in size, but then the vehicles aren't perfectly lined up, but we'll still be able to get a measure for speeds as we scroll through. So without further ado, I'm going to hit go. The first thing I'm going to do is scroll through all four, just starting the engines. In fact, I'm going to line this one up, but that's no good. In fact, that's happened while I've been off screen. Oh, and God, it struggles. So we'll see what happens here. And we will set them off. Let's do the John Deere last, so we'll go back through the four. T9 hire worker, go. Class 0 hire worker, go. 1050 hire worker, go. He's going to struggle. And the beast hire worker, go. Let's go to landscape mode and see what they do. They're all full, so each one of these carts has got 45,000 litres of goods in. The lowest horsepower one is the Fendt 1050 here at 517 horsepower. The highest horsepower one is this one, and I forget the number, for that I apologise. Let's scroll into the vehicles actually and see how fast they're going. So 11 miles an hour is what the DLC is rated at. That's what we're getting with the John Deere. The 1050 is only managing 8 miles an hour, which isn't surprising. It's only 517 horsepower. Be interesting to see how the class is bearing up. So as you can see, the John Deere is making its turn. I think we'll hold and watch the John Deere make the turn. We'll worry about the others in a moment. Hey Eddie, hey Valinian, hey Light Shepherd, hey Richard, hey William, hey FBI, welcome along. So I'm literally, it's a short-ish stream. I don't mind playing around on my hill in a moment with the, we'll take the 9RX up that hill in a minute and see what it can do. But for now, let's just see. So the 9RX is, oh, what's that T9 doing? Look. It's all gone wrong. The T9 over there, look, it carried straight on. How fast is the T9 going? I knew I should have perhaps done this off screen. Well, the T9's pulling it at 11. Okay, guys. So if you want to use the T9 but with this piece of kit, it can manage fine. And the T9 will do 26 miles an hour because it's got tyres and not tracks. Off on the road, I mean. The Fendt was down to 8 miles an hour. The Class I haven't managed to look at yet. I'm just literally driving this as fast as I can to set it off over here, just to get it out of the way, really. So I think the T9 would have probably kept up with the John Deere. They're not too far off on horsepower. The Class is 8 miles an hour, which is the same as the Fendt, which was to be expected. So the Class and the Fendt are the same. The T9 and the 9RX were the same. Hey Nathaniel Lee, welcome along. The 9RX has got something in the way, excuse me. This is just a test map, Eddie, so I've got any tractor I want on this map. Oh no, I've lost my stuff. Well, sorry, that didn't quite go to plan, but anyway, you can see the 9RX pulls it an absolute treat, as does the T9. The Class and the 1050 are down on speed by 3 miles an hour. The T9s are absolutely fine. You'll see this will pull it up to 11 miles an hour, it should do. I will do a true horsepower test in a minute, William, but basically the Class isn't man enough, and nor's the Fendt 1050. This is the next fastest vehicle. This will do 26 miles an hour on the road. So we'll do a horsepower test between this one and the 9RX in a second. We'll see how far up the hill they get. I think, Richard, by the time you're buying this kit, bear in mind that I had 9 million in the bank before I bought all this stuff. So I bought 4 lots. Almost 6 million has gone. I think, Richard, to be honest, by the time you're buying this stuff, you're in the end game and money doesn't matter. Each of these tractors are roughly $500,000 each, as they should be. They're all big boys. You know, if you can afford to get this stuff, you're not worried about 50 grand here and 50 grand there. You're getting it because you got a big farm on the go, and you're so what I'm going to do is position these 2 tractors here, sell the other 2, or get them out of the way anyway. So position this one here and the 9RX next to it, and I'll send them off up the hill and we'll see how they get on. Hey Funny Bone, hey Charles, welcome along. Nice to see everyone. Sussex Farm will be continuing. I'm not sure if it will be today or not. I haven't decided yet. But I thought we'd just do a little bit of a horsepower test, if you like, with this kit. If you're running this kit, the Fendt 1050 and the Class Zeron are, to be honest, not really man enough. They're not running at operating speed. They're down to 8-9 miles an hour instead of 11, which is a shame, because with the Seedhawk you could just get away with those two, but with this you can't. So I'm just going to reset that and reset that, so the D-pad is between these two now. Right, we'll set these off then, shall we? See what happens. Right, the blue one went first. Now the blue one was set off first, so see if the John Deere's extra horsepower makes a difference. It looks like the John Deere is closing, even though it's actually going up a very slightly steeper hill. And the John Deere has it. The blue one is, wheels are spinning, but it's almost stopped. Really, maybe we should get a big bud quickly, just see what happens with the big bud. The quad track will be the same as the John Deere one. The horsepower's about 20 in it. But yeah, we could do quad track versus okay, the New Holland track versus the track. Right, yeah, we can do that. So I'm just going to drop this off over here, drive it to the shop. Oh no, it's a different vehicle, isn't it? Oh, funny, I don't think I've got the cultivator. Actually, I've reset a tractor, I could do that as well. I've got a very bumpy field over there we could try as well. But anyway. I'm going to put that there. Unhitch it, get this out of the way. Go to the shop. Buy. Should we do the Case Quad Track or the T9 Tract? Let's go Case Quad Track. It's got more power. 692. I've just done the T9 donkey. It got thrashed, but but it might have been because it wasn't tracked. It was the one with wheels. So we got a 692 horsepower quad track versus whatever the horsepower this is. So what is the horsepower of the 9RX? Does anyone know? Hey Yardy. Hey Funny Bone, we'll get onto that in a minute, don't worry. So I'll put that there. Okay, so we got 670 horsepower versus 692. God, this looks old-fashioned, doesn't it? But it isn't half a cool-looking machine. For those of you that aren't familiar with the map, it's my yeah, and donkey, if it's already cultivated, it will plant if you leave it raised. It's got a glitch. Sky Farm, named by Donkey New Holland. I'd say for everyday use though, the T9 is absolutely adequate to pull this piece of kit. The T9 pulled it at 11 miles an hour, absolutely fine on the flat, and it even pulled it up quite a steep hill. It was only on the test of destruction did the 9RX, with its extra horsepower, get ahead. Right, we're going to set the John Deere off first because it's got less horsepower, okay? He's gone. Oh, John Deere hasn't gone. Bugger. What's going on? Oh, it's going now. I think the John Deere does have a slightly steeper hill at this point. But there's not much in it. fact, they're both doing rather well considering how steep this is. I would say the case's extra 30 horsepower does make a difference, but only when you're at a point whereby you probably wouldn't particularly be farming, not with kit like this anyway. But the case does seem to have just pulled ahead, just. They're both struggling for traction. Right, we've got one more field to go and try on now. But the case does have 29 more horsepower. Well, the John Deere is going to get there, but it would have got there. So we'll just set them off on this field here, which should be, they should both be able to handle this quite well. Again, it's a bit of an unrealistic test, but at least you'll get a measure as to sort of how far you can push it with these machines. Both of these air carts are full of seed, so now they should both be doing 11 here. We'll sit in the case because it's got more power, so technically it should handle these hills slightly better. But I think it's going to be dead even, to be honest. I think the 30 horsepower difference is nothing. It's like the difference between a Fendt 1050 and a Class Xeron. Yeah, but it's not really a glitch that gains anything, Richard. It just plants, it doesn't cultivate. You could probably fast farm and cultivate as well anyway. So they are on different terrain. It does articulate quite well, this seeder. This is very uneven terrain and the misses are quite minimal so far. The one behind the John Deere missed a strip there, the case has just missed a strip there. But to be honest, the only seeder that plants this field is the Horse Pronto. Everything else misses. But unlikely on a worker, Richard. And I can't, Richard, I haven't got any fields that are cultivated, so it won't work. It only works if the field's already cultivated. So there's no difference between these two tractors. So those of you that were worried the 9RX might not be able to compete with the Case Quad Track, you need not worry. The 9RX can compete with the Case Quad Track, and you can rest easy, that's fine. We got one more thing probably to do. I'm just going to stop these now. I'll stop that one. Stop that one. We'll go back to the Fendt. We are going to purchase a planter. This is a little trick that Funny Bone 147 sent me a picture of earlier. I quite like the setup, so we need a 12-meter planter, which will be that one. We'll buy that. And we will buy the DLC Bourgault, however you pronounce it, 12-meter cultivator. And what you can do with this cultivator is, because it has a hitch on the back, you can if I could drive properly, now, for those of you that are bound to ask the question, it is possible using the mod 3-point hitch to stick all this in a line behind the combine if you wanted to. So we'll go find another field that I can demolish. Got one around here somewhere. So yeah, Funny Bone sent me a picture of this earlier. I quite liked it. It's quite neat and tidy. Obviously, if you've got the Great Plains cedar, it cultivates and plants anyway, but a lot of people don't like that piece of kit. It's very heavy for what it is, because it's modded from a bigger machine down. Actually, I've got a field just here, haven't I? It's slightly heavy on horsepower, but if you've got a big tractor knocking about, this is a bit of fun. The cultivator's rated at 480 horsepower. The planter's not too bad. I think it's about 170. But anyway, the Fendt can handle it. So Now I've never done this before, so I do not know if you have to turn the seeder on or what, but I'm just going to hit hard worker and see what happens. I doubt it, Richard. Oh, all I did was hit hard worker. I didn't turn the seeder on. Oh, it's a little bit slow. Maybe we need more horsepower. Hang on. Oh, are we going uphill? We're not going up a very steep hill. Let's just see what happens when it gets level. I'll tell you what. Let me find a more level field. I've got one just the other side of that chimney. I've got a feeling that a bit more horsepower might be required actually. But it is a bit of fun and it does work. Yeah, it is quite heavy. You can see it struggling up this hill. Mind you, that's quite steep. It's been a while since I've been on the old flat map. Better half my livestock's died. So what I'll do, I'll set this off. We'll see how it goes. If it's a bit slow, I'll grab the quad track. I'll put that on instead of the Fendt, and then we'll see how it goes. But this field over here is quite flat, really. So we'll set it off on this field, see what happens. So we've got 8. Oh, it stopped. Oh no, it didn't stop. It was just getting the seeder ready. So yeah, the horsepower of the seeder plus it must be 270 horsepower. So I'll get the quad track. Or shall we use? Let's use the 9RX. Let's see if that can do it. Very true, Richard, very true. While we're here, let's check the lights out. It's got headlights and work lights and beacons, look. I tell you what, for 35 slots, I have to say, and I'm one of the most anti-slots people, I think it's quite tidy actually. I'm happy, if you like, I'm quite happy that you can't open the doors and stuff. So let's just park that there, get back into the Fendt. Yeah, it's definitely struggling, look. So I'm going to stop it. Get it out of the way. Nice cultivator though, look how uneven that ground is, and it's still not missing any of this oilseed radish. I mean, that's ridiculously uneven ground, and it's still not missing any, look. Oh, articulated vehicles, yeah, they're fun, aren't they? Not. Right, this should go up to 9 miles an hour, which is the rated speed of that planter. There we go. So you need 600 horsepower to do this anyway, but it is a bit of fun, and it could save you a pass. So there we go. While I'm on the flat map, is there anything else anyone wanted to see that I probably wouldn't do on Sussex? Let's see how it turns as well at the end anyway. Yeah, but if that saved a few slots, Richard, I'm happy with that. It might be on purpose, you know. I can't even see the fan. I think it's quite a tidy mod. I don't think there's any point, William. If the quad track can do it, the big bug can definitely do it. We'll just let this get to the end and watch it make a turn. Just to make sure the seeder works properly on the turn. Yeah, the worker's working absolutely fine with it. Alright, well, while this is doing this, I'll go and get a big bud, shall I? We'll try a big bud up the hill. If I've got the big bud installed, it might not be installed. No, I haven't got the... Oh! Hello. We got the big bud. We'll leave this one going then. I mean, look how uneven this ground is, and it's not missing any. It's doing a really good job, actually. The Great Plains would be missing loads, I can tell you that. The Great Plains would miss loads on here. It's one of the machines that needs the flattest ground there is. Very unforgiving machine, the Great Plains. So if you've got uneven ground, this might be the way to go anyway. Right, let's go get the big bud. I don't have that luxury mouse, I'm afraid. Now, I nearly put triples on it, but to be honest, I don't really like the look of it with triples on. I think it's too over the top. It should be fine like this. Well, I'll talk about the cultivator, Richard, but yeah, No, the Great Plains is terrible. The Horse Pronto does so much better on dodgy terrain. All the horse stuff's really good. Oh, it's totally flat, Mouse. I built all that middle bit there. There's about 100 million worth of landscaping on this map. I had to cheat loads of money into landscape it. Let's just, firstly, we'll just set it off straight up the middle of the hill. See how far it gets. Now, bearing in mind that the quad track and the 9RX basically probably would have got to the top, but they were very slow, like 1 mile an hour. Still putting 11. At this point, the quad track and the 9RX were well low. The slot count, it's high on the Bourgault stuff, but the 9RX is quite reasonable, really. No, he's doing well, Richard. Oh, what's he doing? Where's he off to? Okay, that's as far as he's going to go. He's making the turn, look. Alright, let's set him off on the next field along. Well, that won't happen. I do like the smoke that comes out of these. Well, this hasn't even got a PTO, has it? The big bud. No, Donkey, I've not been on long. Hey, Newell, welcome along. Just doing a bit of sort of playing around and testing to destruction, Newell. Obviously, this isn't a legit farm today. We're just destroying all the fields with this new DLC. I think that's going to get to the top of the hill and be fine. We'll go and quickly check on the other tractor. The 9RX, which is going absolutely fine, cultivating and planting at the same time. So you've got a 12 metre cultivator, 12 metre planter. Who needs the Great Plains, hey? And it's working on really uneven ground as well. We'll go back to the big bud now. He's made it over the steepest bit of the hill. We'll just check out the turn at the bottom. Okay, so the turning circle's probably the same as the Valderstat seed cart we've already got. Nothing in it, is there really? You might need an extra 2 or 3 meters, but nothing in it. So I think we'll go back and check on the 9RX. The big bud's going absolutely fine there. When you're unlikely to find many fields this steep. On Washoe, Nevada, there's a couple though. I think on field 15, I think it is. And the big bud does handle that. That's what I use on that map for that reason. Hey John, welcome along. How are you, John? So this little setup's working really well. I'd say the 9RX is a success. I don't think it's too over the top on slots. I'd rather it was 25 slots instead of 35, like the T9 is. But it's a lot less slots than any other John Deere DLC, so we can only be thankful, really. Excellent, John. And this is the Case quad track, as you guys know. With the same piece of kit. The T9's also fine at running this. But the Fendt 1050 and the Class Xeron really aren't man enough. Hey Eddie, who's my real life farming YouTube? I watch a bit of Millennial Farmer sometimes, and I watch a bit of Ollie's Farm sometimes. So the colours almost match as well, almost. I don't know what you like, Eddie. If I was a real farmer, I think I'd be happy, but I'm not. I'm quite happy to play with the boats and things that I normally do for a living. So money, that is a bit over the top, that hill. We'll leave that like that and we'll go back to the big bud. Okay, he's missed a bit there and up there, but it is quite a steep hill. Maybe the weight of the cart is dragging it down the hill slightly. I do know that even with the other seeders, they do miss bits on this with this hill. I'd normally have to mop up afterwards anyway. So anyway, it was just a quick stream. I've been on almost an hour now. A quick stream to sort of see what sort of tractors are required, rather than just reading the horsepower and trying it out in anger, really. Next time I stream, I'll be back on Sussex Farm, and I think we're picking hay up. I'm not sure if I'm going to actually stream tonight, but I'll probably try to tomorrow if I don't tonight. So, anyone got any last minute quick little things they want me to maybe try? I think we've pretty much covered it. The smaller one is just smaller. It's more articulated, so it's harder to hook up. Uses a bit less horsepower, but the smaller one will take the bigger cart, just in case you're wondering. So if you're using a slightly less horsepower, you can still tow this 45,000 litre cart behind the smaller one. This will not go on the Vanderstack though. This cart will not go on the Vanderstack, as from what I understand. I haven't tried it myself though. Alright, anyway, thanks a lot everyone. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. And if you do subscribe, hit the bell so you know when I'm on next. Cheers for the likes, guys. That's really nice. And I hope to catch you later. I'll be in a party for a while, but I'm not streaming, I don't think. I'll leave you with the 9RX. No. Yes, the 9RX. Where is it? Here we go. I'll leave you with that view for a couple of minutes and then I'll turn it off.